On a gloomy night, the protagonist Victor meditates on how the dark corners of the neighborhoods became far more dangerous because of the confusion surrounding superpowers and superhumans. Victor, who has consumed a fair amount of alcohol, is ejected from the establishment and told to leave if he wants to drink again, because he puked in front of the guests this time. Ignoring the bouncer's phrases, he picks up the bottle to take another swig while murmuring something under his breath. He fails to notice that the bottle has been sealed and bitterly points his finger at it, demanding a new one. Abruptly, he hears a woman scream for help, which causes him to temporarily change his focus. He turns his head and decides to postpone dealing with his bottle for a while. When he stares in the alleyway where the woman's scream was heard, he sees a small group of individuals. The girl, Anna, is encompassed by thugs who tell her that she is searching for an adventure on her own because she purposefully strolls through these entry points. When the girl tries to scream, they tell her not to stress her voice because no one will come to rescue her. Then they grab her by her clothes and toss her to the ground. The group of thugs start to restrain Anna. They then decide it's time to stop teasing her and get on with twisting her hands. In addition, the mob boss turns around and tells his accomplices that they unexpectedly have visitors. Victor, who had finally realized that his bottle was closed, asks the criminals what they are attempting here. The gang leader tells him it's none of his business and that he should flee while he can. His pawns then tell him that no one will notice the drunken man's corpse in the alleyway. The leader acknowledges that Victor is refusing to give up and attempt to strike him down with his fists. Subsequently, he swings at Victor, expressing to him that he will die today. But to his amazing surprise, the stiffened drunk easily deflects the blow, stopping the leader in his tracks. At the same time, Victor leaps into the air, geared up to strike with both legs in the air. But before the leader can respond, Victor delivers a devastating kick to the face, sending the leader soaring forward and colliding with his accomplice, who suffers severe injuries and loses consciousness. Another bully turns towards Victor, hollering vociferously that he just signed his own execution. Before the thug can finish berating the main character, a bottle of alcohol flies into his face. The bottle is surprisingly strong and stays intact, knocking down the bully. Victor catches it with his leg and stares at it for a while, trying to gather his thoughts in his intoxicated head, and then tosses it into the air, easily grasping it while highlighting that he nearly spilled the valuable contents of this bottle. Then, examining the thugs, the scumbag calls Victor a real asshole and informs his accomplices that they must leave as soon as possible because he is too tough for them. One of his friends tries to offer a solution. However, he is abruptly interrupted, reminding him that now is not the appropriate moment. The thugs then swiftly lifted their leader and vanished into the night, ultimately warning Victor that they would find him and exact revenge. Victor asks Anna whether everything is all right in the interim, then double-checks whether his bottle is firmly closed. Anna gradually turns to thank Victor, but as soon as she recognizes her savior, her face morphs into terror. Victor, still swaying from too much wine, asks the girl he saved what she neglected to bring with her. After arguing that she had been running from him the entire time, and that she had chosen this path on purpose, Anna cries out to him, accusing him of being a sick pervert. Victor asks her how she knew him, pointing out that they had never met before, and he wonders privately how she could have seen him in the masses. When Anna tells him that she saw Victor spying on her multiple times, she asks him why he assumed he was so good at concealment. She then furiously threatens to call the police if he does not leave immediately. Anna reflects that Victor is a pervert who has been observing her for several days and obnoxiously acknowledging that luck has once again turned against her. Victor's expression abruptly becomes icy as he informs Anna that he saw right through her and that he is not to blame for the outcomes. With horror in her eyes, Anna stares at the approaching Victor and asks him what he intends to do. She begs him not to approach her, but Victor disregarded her and advances closer, giving her a swift fist to her pressure point. Following the blow, Anna becomes unconscious. Victor watches her intently to make sure she genuinely passed out. Meanwhile, the thugs are fleeing as quickly as they can, concluding that Victor must be overpowered because he could not have handled them so easily. All three of them possess superpowers, so they might as well stay put, one of the obnoxious gang members says. But demonstrate to the intoxicated man that they are not someone to trifle with. A frightful fellow, asks if he witnessed how easily Victor knocked him down, adding that he endured a car's strike but almost perished after being assaulted by a bottle, indicating that Victor is most likely a hunter and that he informs his allies that typically superhumans attempt to conceal their abilities to avoid being targeted by hunters for their superpower. Afterward, he states that, however, if Victor isn't a hunter, he can still engage in combat on an equal footing with actual hunters. It implies that it's best to avoid clashing and fleeing when faced with such enemy. Meanwhile, Victor, who has been pursuing the thugs on various rooftops, smugly declares that they should exercise caution. The gangsters froze in place, paralyzed by instinctive terror. Victor informs the aggressors that wanted criminals should exercise extreme caution and refrain from engaging in situations like this. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next chapter.